It's time for the Wrestling Observer Extra.
One more time for old time's sake.
With Dave Meltzer, right here on The Law. Live audio wrestling.
And let's go. But now smoking with the best.
All right, we started a little late today here on The Law, but we're still going to be doing our 2-hour show, and it is just after midnight. And that means we now head to San Jose, California, and chat with Dave Meltzer, who is also fresh off watching the the greatest WWE Money in the Bank pay-per-view of all time. It was certainly the longest, Dave, but I do question if it was the greatest.
I wouldn't say the greatest, but it was a good show. It was a newsworthy show, at least in the last match, and it's interesting if you know exactly what the story is on this last match. Is it just a way to get the belt off of Roman Reigns and have him go and back be in the chase position, and maybe with the idea that maybe he'll be more popular chasing, or is it that they have decided that the Roman Reigns experiment didn't work? And I don't know which one it is. I think it'll be really clear, probably SummerSlam, how they come out of SummerSlam and then move to Mania. I'm guessing that they want to put him in the chase position. But, all business numbers are down, and if it was a different era, it would be like, past the time to bail. So, I can't put that, and say that, well, that's not the case.
Well, and that would seem surprising too, Dave, because we've seen how steadfastly stubborn they've been with Reigns.
Exactly, and also how they've never put Ambrose in that top position, but now Ambrose has the belt. Then again, maybe Ambrose will have a belt that goes to the other brand, and who knows how that's all going to work out.
Well, yeah, that's what Jay and I were just discussing off air, that in fact maybe this could be some way to split these guys up so that you can separate them when the brand split comes along, because you can't have all three of them on one show.
You could. You could if because again, if you have the other show has Cena, Styles, and Randy Orton, so you could do it. But I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions that, July is going to be a real interesting month as far as, the future of WWE and where everything goes.
Do you know what the time frame was on the decision to give Dean Ambrose the Money in the Bank tonight and also do this cash-in, like this all came about? Was it a long-term plan? Because to me, as far as booking, it seemed like they had definitely made this decision on Monday, but not so much before that.
They hadn't even hinted on it until Monday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know the answer. I may find out tomorrow, but it feels like it was less than 2 weeks, because if you go back 2 weeks, there was no hints whatsoever.
And weren't you surprised too, Dave? Like, to me, when they hit us so over the head with it on the TV this week, teasing Ambrose winning and becoming champion, I thought, okay, they're never going to do that in a million miles. Like, I was really surprised how much they basically gave it to us on Monday.
On Sunday. I expected that they would do it at like SummerSlam or something. I didn't think it would be tonight, but it was.
And to that point, Dave, it's interesting. The Money in the Bank briefcase, ever since Edge won the first one, it has been a great way to develop a character and give someone a lot of time on the mic to really express themselves, develop their character, etc. By doing this all in one night, and it has been done before with Kane, but there was a second briefcase at that time. But by doing this, I find that now we're lacking a gimmick in the WWE that we've become accustomed to.
Yeah, but it's still, as far as the story goes, it was a successful cash-in, and it got Ambrose the championship, and Ambrose has never been the top guy, and now he's theoretically the top guy, and a lot of people thought that he should be. Here's the funniest part of the whole thing. I thought, like, years ago when it came down to was it going to be Ambrose or Reigns, I was on the side of Ambrose, but they have buried Ambrose for so long and cooled him off to where I had gone, you know what? At this point, I'm not sold on Ambrose anymore. Now they give it to him. Is he salvageable? Did they beat him too badly?
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out if people will now. I think that reaction-wise will be good, but do the people see him as a weak champion?
Well,
they may.
It depends how they book him, Dave. If they do it, he's one of these champions that he loses every non-title match that he has, then it's not going to help really at all.
But you're talking about a champion who just got waxed by Brock Lesnar.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I mean, not that long ago on the show that everybody watched, and on the build-up when everybody was watching, he got waxed on every single thing, and now he's your world champion. It's really weird to do it that way.
Yeah, right.
I mean, another person who's consistently been losing with the last 3 pay-per-views is AJ Styles. Tonight he gets a win, but it's still with the assistance of Gallows and Anderson. What did you think of this match and the finish, Dave?
I thought the match was great, and I had no problem with the finish because they had to do something. It's the first match. It's a long program.
Right.
I don't think that you want AJ just winning clean if AJ was a babyface just winning clean, yes. But since they turned AJ heel, he's got to win by heel means to keep it going, and he had to win the first one because he had the 3 losses in a row, and So and there were different storyline aspects of it in the sense that did AJ know that they were coming out in things like that they can go back to, but the whole thing is that it builds up. It builds up probably at least a couple more matches with Cena, and that's what they need. They need a good Cena AJ feud.
As long as they tell Cena to just whisper a little bit quietly though when he's calling his spots. He seemed particularly bad tonight.
Yeah, you know what though? He is the worst in the business at that, and I mean that's just how it is.
Yeah.
One more match to touch on before we move on, Dave. Super hot match tonight. Sheamus and Apollo Crews.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a hot program. I can tell.
I honestly don't understand what they're doing with Apollo Crews. Is just someone with no motivation, and it's a character that is non-existent.
I'm confused myself, and I was confused with that win because it's like it was one of those wins where the babyface that wins doesn't really get over, and it's like, what was the point?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very true. Let's speak about some of the other stuff that has happened this week. In particular, we had Jerry Lawler suspended indefinitely by the WWE. We have yet to talk on this show about it because we went on the air a little bit late. But fill us in on what happened with this situation, Dave.
So late Thursday night, Jerry Lawler, I guess, came home and had an argument with his fiancée. He had come home from a match, and she had been watching the Warriors-Cavaliers game, and apparently she'd been drinking, and they got into a big fight over something. He asked her where she'd been and stuff, and then I guess in the course of the argument, she called 911, then hung up. The police came, and she claimed that he held her against her will, and he claimed that she was trying to run off and drive while drunk, which he didn't want her to do. And they brought both of them in. Lawler actually never went to jail, even though he was arrested. Because he's such a celebrity, they just kind of like
he just sat around and talked to the officers and had coffee.
Yeah, he was just hanging out, and they wouldn't let him leave until the next morning. But he didn't have to actually go to jail, where I guess she probably did. And they've got a hearing on Monday. But yeah, based on WWE protocol, as long as this case is on, he has to be suspended because it's a domestic violence issue. And knowing Jerry Lawler's track record on civil and legal cases, he always gets out of it.
Yes.
So I'm kind of thinking that he's probably going to get out of it. So people who think that, oh my God, his career's over,
no.
I really don't believe his career's over. I actually think he'll probably be back relatively soon. But
he survived that one. I believe it was like '94, Dave. That was way worse than this, where that girl accused him of,
Oh yeah. Well, that one.
And it all ended up being lies.
That one was a real major. That one was a lot of publicity. But the one that I think of was the lawsuit when they, like the owners sued the owners who bought the USWA from him, sued him for misrepresenting things. And reading the court case and everything like that, and all the evidence, it's like they had him and Larry Burton dead to rights. And the jury ruled, in fact, that they had been swerved, but they'd only been swerved by Larry Burton, and Lawler.
He got off.
He got off completely.
Yeah. That's funny.
So, Dave,
and to the point that the judge, before the verdict came, goes, Jerry, you really need to settle because this could be really bad for you. And in fact, they found him. The award from Jerry was $0.
Wow.
The interesting thing about this particular Jerry Lawler situation is this is someone that is up there in years. Vince McMahon has a definite prejudice, again, putting older people on his television.
Without a doubt.
Lawler is definitely an icon. However, SmackDown is moving, making another change, going live. This is an ideal excuse for Vince McMahon to remove Jerry Lawler if he wishes.
Yes. he could do that. The thing is Lawler, ever since Ronaldo came, Lawler's been kind of revitalized.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better lately.
Because he wasn't, on Raw, I wasn't much of a fan of what Lawler was doing anymore, and I love Jerry Lawler. But on SmackDown, I've been enjoying him again. But yeah, you're absolutely right in the sense that he's 66 years old. They got rid of Jim Ross, who was younger, many years ago, and better. And yeah, it easily. I think that if he gets off, like if like in the next couple of days, I think that there's almost a thing where if they don't bring him back, that you know what I mean, that would look really bad. So maybe if they do it, again, could they do it in 6 months? Yeah. But and if this case drags for a long time, I could see it possibly. Right. But if it's settled pretty quick, then I don't see it as much.
Okay, well, speaking of an older face that is on television, apparently the WWE is going out of their way now
yes.
to contact older faces to be on television with the brand split. And what I'm talking about is a story that you had reported, Dave, with people like Carlito, MVP, Stevie Richards, being contacted for the new era.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming that because they're doing a brand split that they just want some familiar faces to put over the young guys. That's how but there are stars that have been contacted. I don't know who's going to come and things like that. But yeah, most of the guys that I've heard about are guys that I would presume would be there to put other guys over that are just like name value guys. So it's interesting, but yeah, I mean it's interesting that they just did this. Right now, but I mean, they're really, they're really scouring the earth for like, any independent guys and things like that. Anyone who's talented that's not under contract to like Lucha Underground or New Japan or TNA or Ring of Honor. I mean, they really want everyone right now. I don't think it's so much to kill, and they got 3 brands they got to stock with talent now.
Well, see, that's the thing too, Dave, and the fact that they really, NXT, they really see that as yet another brand rather than just being about developing talent. So, they're going to take some stars from there, I'm sure, but I don't think they're going to want to deplete that roster too much. They want that brand to be strong too.
Well, they have to have enough to where it can go on the road and draw 2,000 people.
Yeah.
So it's like, they're gonna take some guys for sure. When this draft comes, so it's like in a month. Whatever it is, it might be 6 guys or something like that. But they're still going to have to replenish, NXT because everyone who's on top in NXT, every single person, shouldn't be in NXT anymore. Mm-hmm. There's, every star in NXT, they're ready. The guy who was the least ready of the guys that they were pushing in NXT was Baron Corbin. He's already up.
Yeah.
You look at Aries and Joe and Nakamura. That's and Finn Balor. That's ridiculous. Actually, they should be main roster, and Joe should be a main roster main eventer, right? Working with Brock Lesnar. And Finn should be up there, in the Bullet Club, and Nakamura should be challenging for the World Championship, and the American Alpha should be the best tag team on one of the 2 brands. And hopefully at least some of that's going to happen in a month.
Mm-hmm. Is there any truth to the rumor of the American Alpha and Kurt Angle tie?
I don't know that. There's nothing. There's nothing right now on that. But it's weird because they're using the ankle lock, as I think people have seen, and the fans themselves sing Kurt Angle's music for Gable all the time when he comes out.
Yep.
So there is that. Kurt Angle is a free agent, so it's not like they can't do it. In February, if you remember, they were at the Arnold Classic. Triple H didn't even get near Kurt. So that's February, but February's February. Now we're in June, and it easily could be different. Yeah, because their mentality is different. Yes.
Before we go, Dave, we just want to quickly check in on the UFC sale. We hear there's 2 bidders. The bids are in, and it's 100%.
Yeah, the whole company.
What does this mean?
The bids are in right around $4 billion, and it's going to be Wanda Capital or Wanda Wanda and
But the ING?
The IMG and William Morris and Kraft and the Kraft family combined bid, or it's going to be the China Media Capital bid. So 100%. More likely than not, there'll be a new owner within a week. I think it probably won't be announced until after UFC 200. I have a feeling, so they may try to keep it quiet. But
Ariel will report it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, it's this is too big of a story to be quiet.
Yeah, exactly.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, the big question that always comes out is Dana White and Dana White's status within the company. If it is a 100% sale, he's bought out at that point of his percentage that he owns, and does he stick around?
Every impression I have is that he sticks around. I know both groups want him, as they should, but stick around in what role? And again, if you've been watching, Dana White's been a lot less visible.
Yes.
I mean, just like last night at the press conference, there was no Dana White.
Yep.
Last night I don't even know if he was at the show. I know he didn't go to the show in Brazil a couple of weeks ago. Even at the last show in Vegas, which was a major show, he didn't go to the press conference, although he was there. So it's like he's been, he's been, I mean, he was a guy, I mean, as far as like a commissioner, as everyone knows, he was a very easy to contact commissioner until about a year ago. And then all of a sudden, I don't want to say he went silent, but it definitely changed. It changed greatly.
All right. Well, perhaps next week we'll be talking about who bought the company.
Who's running
we'll
it
get the
now?
update.
Yeah.
I think we're probably going to know that one on Tuesday.
Wow. Of course. It'll come on Tuesday.
Dave got to the joke before us
Yes,
tonight.
that's
very
right.
funny. Dave, Observer this week, I guess coverage of Money in the Bank and whatever happens tomorrow, right?
Money in the Bank Dominion, which was a great pay-per-view.
It was.
As well.
It was an excellent show.
The great UFC show on Saturday, story on Gypsy Joe, and there's probably going to be several other things that break. Again, and again, I think there'll probably be more stuff out as far as who WWE is going after.
Right.
And, again, tomorrow's show, I think, will explain a lot more about where Dean Ambrose is going and more hints about the draft. And, it's going to be a lot of news between now and, again, now and the end of July. I think we're going to have a lot of news every week.
All right, Dave. Well, we'll talk to you next week at this very same time.
Okay, have a great week.
You too. Dave Meltzer, WrestlingObserver.com is where you can check out all of his work.